Hello gentlefolk, Hattie the Creator here, creating something new to share with you, I hope. You see, the premise for today's video is to answer a question that I myself asked. The question is, can you use a mobile phone to 3D model and sculpt? You see, you have your phone with you all day long, and there's lots of times where you're sitting around, probably playing a mobile game or something, waiting for somebody, waiting for your wife to try on clothes, waiting for your car to get the tires changed, waiting for your oil change, waiting for your kids to come outside, waiting for your date to get dressed, waiting for somebody to put on makeup. Whatever it is you're waiting for, there is time where you're just idle on your phone. And so I was thinking, hey, this time that I have where I'm just sitting around waiting could be better spent 3D modeling or sculpting or creating some sort of artwork on my phone instead of just playing some silly mobile game that's just a waste of time, that's gonna end up sucking all my money out and making me want to buy things and rage quitting after I don't win. Mobile games are just black holes that suck your time out and part of your soul with them. So today, hopefully I answer that question. So let's get into it. So my first thought was, hey, I'm gonna use SculptGL in a full screen web browser since it's a web app, and hopefully I can navigate through the whole thing and sculpt just like I would on my computer. As you can see, I don't quite have the real estate on my mobile screen that I do on my computer, and a lot of the options are hidden, and navigating is a little tricky, but it's something you could get used to. I know I could get used to it, but just navigating around the menus is pretty much impossible. You can't scroll the screen over there, and some of these features that are on the lower levels and sections of these menus are just unreachable. But despite all of that, I am determined to try and use this as a tool to 3D model and sculpt out something on my mobile phone. So I'm attempting here, I'm just throwing on some clay and playing around with it a little bit, seeing how far I can get and how viable this is as an option. Also, dealing with text messages is something to consider. If you are somebody that is texting a lot or receives a lot of text messages, trying to 3D sculpt on your phone is going to be frustrating. For the sake of this video, I have cut most of those distractions off, but I kept getting Skype alerts and text messages throughout the video. So at this point, I have a pretty decent head. It looks kind of like a Ninja Turtle or some sort of dinosaur or something, and I'm playing around with it and kind of having fun with it. I'm not doing too much detail or anything, just kind of getting some of the structure down, but I am actually pretty pleased that I did this on mobile with just my fat finger on my tiny screen, and it's looking pretty decent, and it's something that I'm kind of getting excited about just because, you know, you can pull something off on your mobile phone. I also found that if you rotated, you can reach some of these lower sections of some of the menus, although not ideal. You can kind of get to them, and it's at this point that I am considering redoing the topology, and maybe I shouldn't have, because that's where things start to go wrong. Horribly wrong. So I definitely suggest saving your model before messing with anything in the topology, because when I remeshed, it turned my model into this little flap of clay, and my whole model is basically gone. I'm kind of frantic trying to figure out how to undo, and in the efforts to undo, I go back a page in the browser and go back to the home page of this website, and I lost my model entirely. It's completely gone and no way to retrieve it. So to avoid losing my models, I decided to download an app, and I found this one called Sculpt Plus, and it's a free mobile app on Android, which is what I was using. And so I downloaded it and I'm giving it a try. Now that I'm comfortable with the controls, I'm going to restart and see what I can model on here. Whenever you switch from one 3D modeling or sculpting software to another, there is always a little bit of a learning curve. Things aren't normally the same exact controls, and it felt a little bit off, just different than what I was used to. So that took a little bit of getting used to, and with some more practice, I'm sure I could have gotten better at using this app. The whole time I was using this app, though, I just really had this kind of stress or frustration inside of me because I couldn't get in and do what I wanted to do. My fingers were too big, and it just kind of felt like the real estate on my screen was just a little too small. I've seen some people online create some pretty incredible things with this app, and I'm kind of suspecting that they're either using a stylus or they are using an iPad or something with a bigger screen real estate. I just can't get in there with my fingers. I mean, this is my first attempt using it as well, so that's definitely a factor. Maybe through time and with more practice, I could get a lot better at this app, but just that frustration I'm feeling is not making this a very pleasant experience. And a big part of that is just stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things. it's not always just going to be comfortable and flow like you want it to, and it's going to take some work to get better at. And if this is something I really want to do, then I'm not going to be good at it the first time or the second time, and I just need to keep on trying. So this model looks pretty sloppy, and this is about as far as I feel comfortable taking it on the phone the first attempt. So I'm going to throw them away. I'm going to start a new one and see if I can get this one looking a little bit better. Another big part of the problem for me though is that you're stuck in this vertical view. You can't go horizontal to where you might have some more real estate to get your fingers in there. However wide your phone is how much space you're going to have to get in there and do the detail work. For this model, I'm trying to be less sketchy and to actually build something that I'm proud of and that I would create something with. For a free app, I am really impressed with this Sculpt Plus. It's got a lot of features, it's got a lot of tools, a lot of brushes. It's a really polished piece of software, and you really can't beat getting it for free. And with free, of course, you have to endorse some ads, not a huge deal, and you can take your models and export them as object files. So that's exactly what I did. I exported this as an object, saved it to my phone, and then when I got home later on, I imported the file into my computer and I pulled it into Sculpt GL just to refine a bit more and play with. And that's kind of the process that I got out of this. I feel like, you know, I was really trying to make this model something polished, but I just feel like polishing on mobile just wasn't a viable option, at least for me. Without a stylus, with just on my phone, I just didn't think it was realistic for me to get in there with my fingers and do that. It's something I'm going to keep playing with and keep trying at. Maybe I'll get better at it over time. I mean, it felt kind of like pole vault jumping with a stick. Not to call this tool a stick. I mean, it's way more than a stick. It's great. It's just my phone was the problem. And it's not that my phone's slow or anything, it's just the size, you know. You're trying to sculpt something in 3D space on a small real estate, and for me, I can develop the forms, I can get some of the shape fleshed out, but as far as having a presentable finished model, I just don't see that as an option. Don't let this deter you from trying it yourself. Maybe part of the problem is just proficiency through time and effort. Obviously, I didn't give these a whole ton of effort other than just the one attempt for some cases. Go ahead and try some 3D art. Maybe just that simple step of skipping through the preliminaries and kind of developing the form is worth it, and that's good enough. And if you have some time and you're leisurely waiting around, don't just waste it playing mobile games. Do something creative. Download one of these apps that I showed in the video. Give it a try yourself. Go ahead and define some models, get some shapes and some forms, and then later on when you're at a desktop, import those models in, polish them up, and develop them into awesome characters. But polishing on mobile is tricky. I bet you if you have a little bit more real estate, like a tablet, an iPad or something, an iPad Pro that can run these things pretty quickly, you're probably in business then. But with this little real estate and these fat fingers, it just wasn't happening. It is frustrating though to be pretty into a project and to lose all your progress. That's always a frustrating thing. I've probably come pretty close to breaking a computer or two through losing progress. Just like a week ago, I was working on a video and Premiere crashed on me and I hadn't saved for like a half hour. I was pretty miffed. Hey, thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to this point of the video. Go ahead and hit that like button if you learned something new as I did, and subscribe if you like this content. I'm gonna make plenty more of it. I plan on making videos at least once a week. I really appreciate you guys all so much. Thank you so much for investing your time in me, and I will do my darndest to make it a profitable investment of your time. By golly! Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope to catch you on another video. Bye. Why do I always do these peace signs with my hands when I'm buying? See ya! Maybe I need my own sign. Anyways, I'll see you later.